So we got a message on Instagram from a guy named Nelson, and Nelson's question, it kind of takes some twists and turns, but the basic idea that I wanted to focus on for this video for you, Nelson, is you're comparing yourself to other people in your gym. You're an older guy, you're in your 30s, 33, and again, don't get mad at me, guys. A lot of you older guys get pissed at me when you hear me say old and I say in your 30s, right? You're like, that's not old, I'm 55, I'm old. I get it. But he's, again, in jiu-jitsu, if you're out of your 20s, you're considered kind of old, just the way it is. But he says he's 33 years old, and when he's in his gym, he has sometimes these thoughts of, man, is this even worth it? Because he's training hard, right? He's pushing himself, but then he sees these younger guys come up and they just climb so damn fast. They get so much better faster. And, you know, he's comparing his experience to other people's at times, and he's just wondering, you know, because he wants to be the best that he can be, and he wants to be the best possible competitor that he can be. But again, he's frustrated by sometimes how good these teenagers and these guys in their early 20s are getting so quickly. And so, brother, thank you for the question. And I want to share my experience as a grappler, and so that you can maybe get out of this idea of, you know, comparing yourself to others and their experiences. So, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to compare yourself to someone else's experience because you don't know where it's headed. When I first started, let's say that you and I, Nelson, we started in the gym together. I was 18 at the time, you were 33 when you started, right? We both started. When I started jiu-jitsu back then, there's no possible way that you could keep up with me skill gain wise. And it's not because I'm talented, because I wasn't that talented. I'm the product of a lot of hard work. But what I was willing to do is I was willing to sacrifice everything, right? I was willing to sacrifice jobs that would pay me more money because the schedule wasn't good. I would sacrifice relationships because women would tell me that I trained too much. Psh, see ya. I was willing to sacrifice clothing. I didn't buy any clothing. I wore jiu-jitsu shirts all year round. I wore jeans in the winter, cargo shorts in the summer. I sacrificed the sort of living conditions that I had. My buddy and I, when I first moved out of the house, out of my mom's house, I lived in a studio apartment with my buddy. I slept on an air mattress. He slept on a futon, right? So I sacrificed, and there's more, I can go into more, but we'll stop there. But sacrificed a whole lot of stuff because I wanted to be good at this one thing. Nothing else mattered, right? Again, sort of I'm sure it's a byproduct of my prefrontal cortex not being fully developed, but I was focused on this one thing, tunnel vision, and I was willing to sacrifice everything else in my life to get there. And so the question I would ask you first off is, are you willing to sacrifice all that, right? Because a lot of times these young guys that come in, they don't have a lot of responsibilities. They don't have a lot going on. They're focused on, they maybe go to school or maybe they have a job, might live at mom's house still. And when they come in, they're just training. That's all they're really doing. And if they're younger and they're teens in high school, they're not doing anything else but training and going to school. They don't have a lot of responsibilities, but you're in your 30s, man. You might have kids. It looks like, I think you have kids. It looked like you did in the Instagram, but maybe you don't. But you might have a wife, might have kids. You might have a whole lot of things on your plate. And again, I know a lot of the older guys, you know, again, 30 plus, we'll say older, are watching this, right? So you guys might have all kinds of things on your plate that have nothing, that these guys don't have and they don't understand. And so again, you wouldn't be willing to sacrifice all these things, right? Are you willing to move into a studio apartment with your buddy and quit your job and do all these things just to train? Probably not. And I wouldn't necessarily advise it, but that's what I did. And that's what a lot of these young guys will do. And that's what a lot of people that get into jiu-jitsu who get really like head in to go after it and compete, that's what they do. They're willing to sacrifice everything for this one thing. And so again, that's first. So you don't want to compete because it's not the same, right? And the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is you're talking about competing. You'll be able to compete in belt ranks and age brackets. So Master 1, Master 2, Master 3, white, blue, purple, brown. You'll be able to compete in a situation where you're going to be with people of the same skill level. Now, the last thing I wanted to share is that with my own experience, again, that's what I have to share with you guys. If I was to compare my experience in jiu-jitsu solely based upon being the best competitor, man, I would wake up every morning frustrated because I'm not the best competitor. I'm not the best competitor in jiu-jitsu. You guys know this, right? Like Muhammad Ali was here, right? He won the worlds last year. That dude, like he played with me. He was nice with me. He could have beat the brakes off me, but he was nice. We had a good roll. But I'm just not going to be that world level, world beater competitor. I'm pretty good. I can win a lot of tournaments, and I have won a lot of tournaments, but I'm just not going to be, you know, I'm not going to beat Buchecha or Leandro Lo or someone like that, right? Just not going to happen. But the cool thing is that I've had other experiences, right? I've come into jiu-jitsu and I've been able to build myself up from a kid that was scared to walk down the street when I was younger because I got jumped, and grappling has given me the ability to be confident in myself, right, and be mentally strong. I've been able to build myself up physically and have this superpower that I have in jiu-jitsu where I can fight and I can control grown men and they can't do anything if I don't want them to. I have this ability to help hundreds of people in the gym every single day. Like, they come in and the experiences that they have range from everything from losing a bunch of weight. Like, I've had guys lose like 100 pounds. I've had people come in and, you know, just like young kids come in and they're getting picked on at school. They stand up to their bully and then they walk around with their chest up. I've had even guys like this happened with one of my guys in the gym. He told me that the day before he came in and started training with us, he was standing out by a bus stop and he was watching the bus go by, just, you know, feeling that wind. Like, you know, when a big vehicle moves past you, you can feel the wind sort of brush past your face, and it almost vibrates you. And he says he was thinking to himself, man, I could just step out in front of that bus right when it gets up there and it'll all be over, right? It could all be over. And then he said he started training with us the next day, and it was like one of these things where he was just, this place was positive. He was around positive people, and he said I had an impact on that. That's beautiful. I've had this unique experience to do that not everybody gets to have. And then even online, right? Like right now I'm talking to you through a camera, and a lot of you guys, thousands of you guys, tune in to watch the videos. I do like what, 5 videos a week right now. You tune in to watch the videos. And that's a unique experience that I get to do. I get to share things with you and be helpful to you guys. And I've been told this recently. It's been really interesting. A lot of people said, man, you're like my second coach. You're like my coach online. I felt like I've talked to you so many times. I met a bunch of guys this weekend that were telling me this. And so it's been a really unique experience. I don't know if you can hear the train behind it. It might be rattling. But it's been a unique experience. But if I was to have focused on someone else's experience, right, because of how good they were doing just in competition, I would have missed my own, right? And I had this whole thing that I can do that has nothing to do with competition. And so what I would say to you, Nelson, is worry about what you're doing, right? Be the best possible practitioner you can be. Use those young guys and use all those guys that are better than you in your gym to help push you, to make you sharper, right? To make you better, because again, iron sharpens iron. So you got to be made of tough stuff to sharpen each other. So use that. But at the same time, don't base your experience upon theirs, because again, they're going in a direction and you're going to go in your own direction. And if jiu-jitsu brings something positive into your life, if it's something that you enjoy doing, then just do it, man. Don't worry about being the best. Worry about being the best you can possibly be. And then don't put really any sort of tag or sort of responsibility on where the destination is going to be. Just go with it and see what happens. So I hope this is helpful to you, Nelson. Thank you so much for the question, brother. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.